Welcome to Gwalia, a ghost town born from gold and abandoned to time, and also the last stop on our astro trip. Our trip was being cut short as some storms were coming through, so this was going to be the last night we could take some shots. This was probably not a bad thing. Just in case you don't notice, the sleep deprivation was well and truly starting to kick in. In 1897, thousands of miners came here chasing the promise of the Sons of Gwalia mine. Among them was a young engineer named Herbert Hoover. Yes, the same Herbert Hoover who became the 31st President of the United States. In his 6 months as mine manager, Hoover designed the mine manager's house, oversaw the design of the staff and office buildings, as well as the iconic timber headframe that still stands today. For decades, this place was alive. Families filled the tiny corrugated huts, the rail line ran day and night, and the desert echoed with the noise of the machinery. But in 1963, when the mine finally closed, everyone left. Overnight, Gwalia went silent. Since then, the mine, with a depth of 1,600 meters in 2023, has gone through several changes in ownership, with mining operations stopping and starting a number of times. But it was the draw of the ghost town that brought us here today. These abandoned cottages become the perfect foregrounds for Milky Way. As soon as we arrived, we headed out to do some scouting and quickly realized that streetlights and lights from the local museum were going to be a problem.
So we've had a spot of lunch and come out scouting for some locations. This particular location that Greg has found is well placed to take advantage of the rising Milky Way, and it looks like the Milky Way is going to be overhead by about 8:30. That all depends on what the light pollution in this area is going to look like. There is some street lights and things like that, but that might be just some free light painting. Hopefully they won't stay on too long. I'm not really a huge fan of shooting hotels. I generally like to do old buildings if I'm going to do an old building, but this one kind of fits that as well, I think. So it's an old decrepit building plus a hotel. So yeah, I think I'm going to give this one a try a bit later on too.
Still in Gwalia. We've had a bit of the afternoon to charge batteries, come up with a bit of a plan, and the sun has just gone down, so we're starting to look around to see where some of the light pollution is going to occur. And you can probably see from behind me, there's an active mine site, and that's definitely going to be throwing out a chunk load of light, so that's going to be an issue potentially. Plan B is to maybe drive north, probably northeast a little bit, to see if we can get some darker skies. Plan C is to use some of these shots from last night, just to give an indication of what the sky would have looked like. How are you feeling about tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good about all the foregrounds that we found.
Yep, it's going to be good.
We've found some really fascinating old buildings and interesting insides and things that we can light paint, but I'm not feeling confident about the light pollution that we can see behind us and potentially even just the street lighting that's around. But we'll see. It's not exactly in alignment with the Milky Way, so fingers crossed we could luck out, but I think there's going to be a pretty fair old light bloom coming from that mine and the infrastructure around it.
Fair enough. Cool. All right, we're going to get started. Going to head off and see how we go. We're down at this first location that we thought we were going to try, which is the old pub. It's a bit derelict at the moment. We thought it would be a good foreground, and it is. But yeah, there's a lot of light pollution out here. Kind of reminds me when I first started Astro and tried to take some images of the sky from my backyard. So it just kind of feels that the same kind of thing. I've kind of tried to grab onto something else, maybe to make the image a bit different. So we've got some star formations to look at. I've also got some light trails with the cars going past on a semi-regular basis, just like this one. And I'm going to try and put all that together and try and make some sort of shot out of the images. For now, we're still waiting for the Milky Way to at least be visible. We've still got about another hour or so before the Milky Way is technically visible. So we're still going to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, my expectations are pretty low at this point. So we've come down to the ghost town and I've taken a couple of shots, specifically the ones that I've been looking at this afternoon. They're okay. The lack of the Milky Way in the background does make a big difference. There, you can still see where the Milky Way should be, but there's just no detail to it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to continue to do. Like I said, I've done a couple of the shots I was expecting to. I'm going to probably edit them anyway. Don't know if I'll put a Milky Way in there, but I might do that just to see what it would look like. My other option, I think, at the moment is to steal Greg's idea. He's currently in some of the buildings trying to do some light painting on the inside, which could be quite interesting. Definitely a bit of a skill involved there, I think. So I might just give that a try. Before I do that, though, I'm just going to finish off doing a couple of more images just to capture the ones that I was looking at earlier today.
I decided to go ahead with the skies I captured at the time. They are not the best, but it does fit with the location.
So I've taken the opportunity to set up a camera to do some star trails. Wasn't planning on doing one tonight, but given the amount of spare time we have at the moment, just waiting for the Milky Way to come up, I thought I'll set up another camera. So I've got the camera set up on the windmill. Is it a windmill or is it a watermill?
Windmill.
Windmill. And this is pointing south. So I'm hoping that they will get some nice star trails around the windmill. So that's me. How are you doing, Greg?
I'm creating all sorts of strange images that I might not have otherwise created. I've got a...
Not a bad thing. It's
no.
creative outlet.
Adversity creates curiosity, creativity. I don't know. I'm making that saying up as I speak.
So creativity is just everywhere, really.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of time lapses going. One inside a house where I did a little bit of light painting, shooting out through the broken roof, and I've also set up a 10mm Laowa lens on my Nikon Z6. I have to say the full name, don't I? Because you're a Canon shooter.
You do.
Your viewers
I got no
probably
idea.
don't even know what Nikons are. Anyway, so yeah, I've set up my Nikon Z6 with a Laowa 10mm inside an old broken rusty DeSoto over there, shooting out through the windows. So
I did see that car earlier on. I was trying to work out what to do with it. And I couldn't work out how to shoot it. So nice work. Well done.
Let's not say I've worked out what to do with it.
You're steps ahead of me already. Cool. All right. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. So we're making the best of it. I was going to say it's not a bad night. It's a kind of like a not as good as what it was last night. We've also been a bit spoiled, so we're still trying to make the best of it.
Last night spoiled us, as you say.
It did.
Our expectations were probably a little high for this location, but we're having fun.
Yes, absolutely. Cool.
I ended up just walking around afterwards, just trying to check out a couple of the buildings. I found a couple of buildings which looked run down and appealed to my sense of interest. So I decided to take a couple of shots. Okay, so I've followed Greg's example and I've actually taken myself inside one of the buildings. The shop that I picked was a Sly Grog shop. It's an illegal alcohol shop.
And I was in here today and I noticed that there was a window and there were some bottles placed on like a bar, an old style bar kind of thing. And I figured this would be a good place to do some light painting on the inside, but also to see if I can shoot through and include some of the stars through the window. So I'm just playing around with that now, and I think it's actually not too bad. This is what the inside of the slide grog shop looks like. And you can see there's the window straight ahead. So I've been light painting inside a little bit and just playing around basically. And they got a couple of old bottles and canisters and tins and things like that. It all adds to the feel. So yeah, I think this one actually could be quite interesting. I'm going to edit this together, and here's the image.
Greg was kind enough to share some images on a time-lapse for this video. Make sure you check out his channel, the details are in the description below. Enjoy the images, and I will see you out there next time.
Hotel that Greg has found.
I don't know what we're saying. Stop saying what am I trying to do?